This is grade 5, module 6, lesson 20, and the objective in this lesson is to use the coordinate systems to solve real-world problems. We'll be looking at question number 1 from the homework, and this one reads, use the graph to answer the questions. Johnny left his home at 6 a.m. and kept track of the number of kilometers he traveled at the end of each hour of his trip. He recorded the data in the line graph. Okay, so let's just take some time and look at the graph. Along the x-axis is the time of day, so we have 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 a.m., and 1 p.m. And then along the y-axis is the distance in kilometers. So we're starting here at 2, and then we go up here to 6, but you notice it would be 2, 4, 6, 8. They only labeled every other line. Okay, so it looks like at 7 a.m. he would have been riding at he would have rode 4 kilometers. At 8 a.m., 8 kilometers. 9 a.m. is at 14. From 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. it stayed the same at 14. So hopefully the students can realize, well, he didn't travel, so maybe this was a time he took a break. And then from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. he goes up to 18. And then at 12 a.m. he goes up to 20. Okay? So you can use that information to answer the questions. And the first question that I'm going to go ahead and cover is number 1, part C, and it said, did Johnny cover more distance before his break or after? So like we talked about, the break happened between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. So did he travel more between this time or between this time? Okay. So at 7 a.m. he was at 4 kilometers. And then he rode up to 14 kilometers. Okay, so from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. we have (10 kilometers). Then from 10 a.m. to 12, it should be 12 p.m. he rode from 14 kilometers to 20 kilometers. So the difference between that is going to be. Okay, so he covered more distance before his break, so between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. If they're looking at the graph as well, they can see between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. that this line is, let me just use yellow, this line is steeper than this line. So they learned in class that if this line is steeper, that it is going to cover more distance. So I wrote, he covered more distance before his break because the line is steeper. So part D says, between which 2 hours did Johnny ride 4 kilometers? So we'll go back to the graph. So if we look at our graph, we notice that between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. we go from 4 kilometers to 8 kilometers. So that's he rode 4 kilometers there. And then between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. he is at 14 kilometers and he goes to 18, so that is also a 4 kilometer ride. So either one of those answers will work. So you could put, let me see, we can have 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Okay. Part E said, which hour did Johnny ride the fastest? And explain how you know. So again, we're going to look at our graph. So the fastest time means he's covering the most distance in the shortest amount of time. So that line would be the steepest. And if you look between 8 and 9, he's going from 8 kilometers to 14 kilometers. So he's actually going 6 kilometers here. And if you want to, you can analyze each hour. So we knew that this one was 4. Okay, this one is 0. This one is 4. And this one is 2. So at the hour that he rode, the farthest distance is between 8 and 9 a.m. So between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., and the line between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. is the steepest on the graph.